Thought I was done rhyming, but had to bring it back. Like Jordan in 45 on my Moabite cap. Prove that hip-hop lives, they deceived you with rap. Deceived you with language, deceived you with maps. Deceived you with civil rights, abandoned the human ones. No rights for child abuse by the pedophilians. Hope making business to apologize to ladies who really are the foreigners. Watch the pre-shape shift, change form. We call him he, she, him, her. To make the Babylon fall with no timber. Got to stretch daily, keep the joints limber. Even Kareem name corrected from our cinder. You can't hide truth from a hardcore student. Black means death in the science of jurisprudence. In law, that's black status, dead civilly. All Moors are active, no passivity. No matter what you said, don't care what you saw. You're not gonna get me to say I'm not a Moor. No matter what you show or told me before. You're not gonna get me to say I'm not a Moor. No matter the games you play, no matter the score. You're not gonna get me to say I'm not a Moor. No matter if he's killed a cop, shattered his jaw. You're not gonna get me to say I'm not a Moor. 101 questions, multiple lessons. Study like a super nerd, late night sessions. Finding out so much facts, how are you in doubt? Drew Ali brought you something to yell and shout about. If they're not convinced, their minds probably mince. But if they persist, pass a book like an assist. Most books I gave out never got returned, but got cases adjourned and ignorance unlearned. Got the debt discharge, collection took a settlement. Credit card company guilty of fraud, negligence. Standing on the square, no attorney to represent. A firm never swear, fezzes up, I'm not Methodist. Great Seal Medallion, crystal beads mala. Riding with Killmonger, CIA on T'Challa. Be careful where you walk more, watch for disaster. My teacher's still a master on the platform of a pastor. No matter what you said, don't care what you saw. You're not gonna get me to say I'm not a Moor. No matter what you show or told me before. You're not gonna get me to say I'm not a Moor. No matter the games you play, no matter the score. You're not gonna get me to say I'm not a Moor. No matter if he's killed a cop, shattered his jaw. You're not gonna get me to say I'm not a Moor. Honest to the prophet, Drew Ali, not Brister. Don't worry what they say loud, but what they whisper. Spies everywhere tell me, you're calling it snitching. Energy talks loud, I knew from the beginning. Mothers who they trusted told me you was tripping. All the honey dipping, their own grave they're digging. Listen, I'm not new to this, I had the best tutorship. Moorish Science Temple, Arab Chamber rulership. Big brothers and clan mothers taught me the ways. What time the sun gauge, truths and cliches. Taboo hidden meanings, feelings of visitors. Most remain picketers and stay on perimeters. In our chat solicitors, lower self prisoners. Confused listeners, sold to inquisitors. Colorable terms, respondent and petitioners. Challenge jurisdiction of the CRA commissioners. No matter what you said, don't care what you saw. You're not gonna get me to say I'm not a Moor. No matter what you show or told me before. You're not gonna get me to say I'm not a Moor. No matter the games you play, no matter the score. You're not gonna get me to say I'm not a Moor. No matter if he's killed a cop, shattered his jaw. You're not gonna get me to say I'm not a Moor.
Yo, Grand Sheik, man, these fools is pissing me off. I already told you not to entertain these fools, man. What's wrong with you?
You know I got them.
Yeah, I know, but you know, it's getting to a point where I'm ready, yo. It's just some butt and cut shit I'm on, bro. Straight butt and cut.
The scope.
Any violation, you already know what it is. I ain't even into no long talking, and I even have to bring the thing for them, but yo, them fools out there for know their self and know their place.
You guys are killing yourselves. Always looking for a way out. Only way out is your hard work. If you don't do it yourself, it's not gonna happen. You're not gonna sit there and fucking listen to sellouts that's gonna help you get to where you need to get to. These weave-wearing, fat, lazy people.
Tongue shimmer tar left the sheets. Dirty Moors are beneath. Replace the mother's head. have a carry their wreath. Traders with cockeyes and coffee-stained teeth, smoking a bogey. Wrote a book with Rami, thought he's my homie. Now he's flying cartoon flags, dancing like a drag queen. Whale face, when you look up what a fag mean. Camera L, big face, look up treason. Saying the Canaanland, but not seeing at Temple 5 meetings. Using our address to disrespect is callous. See me and look down, eye contact leaves him paralysis. Moors begging to light them up like Aurora Borealis. Instead of dropping rolls on them, drop a Moorish palace. Hulk smash to dust, blow away like blunt trash. Trader Moors so dirty, lips have a cunt rash. Claim they leave the station, saw the punks pass. Butler Moore's claim consul general flashing a badge made in China by a Taj Mahal dick rider. Selling false promises to die by witch fire. Burned at the stake under a heaping pile of Mahdi. The smell would be disgusting but make me happy. Don't drink enough water, watch how the lips chappy. Lying on Drew Ali, belly yellow like Aki. When dirty Moors ambush, they spit on but never slap me. Not even a punch. These online talking shit punks using Zooms to sell a package. 35 racks, violate Zodiac and Divine. 35 straps tied to a pole. 20 more for selling your soul. Use a fire hose when trolls spraying the trolls. Head kicked like a field goal. See me like a peephole. Keep you hard and partial so you never be whole. Online scholars nowadays play a unique role. Sell a package to the right more buried in a deep hole. Wrapped in plastic, call them Snickers. Using my name to upload titles, got them triggered. Zombified in their lives, out eyes falling skippers. Abandoned Moorish ties to be spies for vicars. Ladies in the red dress call Hayes and Callaways. If they had obeyed, they wouldn't be dragged through the alleyways. I'm not cordial, thrown in a portal for immortals. Negro bystanders think it's paranormal, but it's formal. We don't argue or quarrel. Dirty Moor should get touched for acting clitoral. Stroked when provoked, sellouts wearing the yoke, tilling the lands on bare hands and knees for jokes, or calling the clan. Deliver a sellout to the grand wizard, or make him lick a frozen pole during a blizzard, or waist high in a fish tank, piranha is richen. On my Clint Eastwood, I can't stand niggas. Don't wanna mirror Moors and act like slave pitchers. Watch for dirty Moors, they move like snake slither. Treason committed, under torture, quick to admit it. Cleverness of the righteous surprises the wicked.
Sitting on the couch all day, just sitting here telling y'all what to do. And y'all just sitting here fat, watching them, paying for these dumbass packages. There's no sugar coating. That's what it is. That's what's happening.
Actually, lucky thing I don't have much more room to talk. I had enough to say too, you know. You guys ain't fucking with none of our leaders, bro. Not our Grand Sheik, anybody. And today Jamal got free up too. Rise of the Moors, you know what it is. We all over, worldwide, universal. Islam.
Time is illusion, minds in confusion, de facto in collusion, world in delusion. Him wanna be her wanna be him. Coke price too high, sniff powdered vim. Weed man can't compete, dispensary treats, makes rap sheets obsolete. Take a back seat, won't listen to Drew Ali, but following tweets. CannibalClub.org, seasoning dark meat, trying to creep, murdered in a loft suite. All the wrong gangster buried in concrete. Watch the elite. It's your babies they eat, keeping you sleep, your land they is cheap. If they can't foreclose, gentrify and bulldoze. Dick tuck is what you get, one to pull hose. While I expose, dirty Moors brown nose, with Drew Ali logos and a Pinocchio nose. They still play playing games, not saying names, fictitious claims, saying they're kings like James or prophets like Drew, forerunners like Garvey. Apples and oranges of Islam is not an army, militia is Moorish. My vision is Joris, prudent as I walk this, wise like a tortoise, island not a turtle, but Alu Bayera, hummingbird land. Watch cunning word scam with 70 bands, pose for the gram. Song in the sands of foreigners' lands with name brands, promoting the fuckery, invoking a chucky. No pocket knife, we got a call in the ducky. They know who to frighten, we know who's enlightened. Eyes getting widened, energy gets heightened. Chakras aligning, push-ups inclining. Don't expect GS to be the dirty Marco signing. No whining while they racial profiling. No smiling, even when finding silver lining. Watching the sun to check the timing. Put the crystals up when the super moon shining.
You know what I mean? We're on an alternate timeline. Yeah, me. AI hijack the organic reality. Yeah, facts. Look at me, everybody.
It's been 100 and few years since True Ali appeared. Now they wear umbrellas for turbans, weaves of hair. They wanna be a goddess of nature and hug a tree. Recording themselves, showing camel toes. Look at me, always posing. Got the air fat and dozing. Dog clothes, new airs, wear second-hand clothing. Carrying your poodle, making your children crawl. Always on social media, children belly a bar. Their nails always dirty, their hair uncombed. Lazy and fat toxicians, law unmowed. 5 baby daddies, 6 baby mothers. 9 years of suffering won't wake a brother. You sleep too much is what Drew Ali said. Only fans in a fog with the baby on the bed, asking mom, why you doing this, acting like a whore. Pause the striptease, kick him out and close the door. Go back on camera, twerk and look at me, twirling on a pole with your daughter, that's a he. He feels like a girl cause no dad around, calling himself matriarch, rapper sash around. Money, phone and pics, throwing cash around. In front of your ears by Negroes getting slapped around. Big shades to hide bruises on live she cruises. The heirs learn bad behavior, making excuses. Take responsibility from parents, they learn rudeness. Wise inherit honor, shame is claimed by foolish. Mind manipulated mothers, excessive demands. Heirs looking uncomfortable, twerking on the gram. Lying ass parents say it's an African dance, making man prance under the hypnotic trance. Mind overblown, they should be dethroned. Look at me, Medusa, turn your dumb ass to a stone.
Look at me, everybody, T&I-G, that's lame. Look at me, everybody, T&I-G, that's lame, y'all. Look at me, everybody, T&I-G, that's lame. Look at me, everybody, T&I-G, that's lame, y'all. Growing up on the tech side, digital sex side, keyboards collide, it's full job, hands bounce on keypad. Getting big mad in real life, just bounce like white pads. As time passed, move fast, digital alien. 5, 6, 7 cents, got a powerful element. Magnetic radiant, matrix sucking your blood. Unplug, fade again, go play in the mud. Like Taj said, you know what I mean? We're on an alternate timeline. Yeah, man. AI hijack the organic reality. Yeah, facts. Look at me, everybody.
It's been 100 and few years since True Ali appeared. Now they wear umbrellas for turbans, weaves of hair. They wanna be a goddess of nature and hug a tree. Recording themselves, showing camel toes. Look at me, always posing. Got the air fat and dozing. Dog clothes, new airs, wear second-hand clothing. Carrying your poodle, making your children crawl. Always on social media, children belly a bar. Their nails always dirty, their hair uncombed. Lazy and fat toxicians, law unmowed. 5 baby daddies, 6 baby mothers. 9 years of suffering won't wake a brother. You sleep too much is what Drew Ali said. Only fans in a fog with the baby on the bed, asking mom, why you doing this, acting like a whore. Pause the striptease, kick him out and close the door. Go back on camera, Twerking, look at me, twirling on a pole with your daughter, that's a he. He feels like a girl cause no dad around, calling himself matriarch, rapper sash around, money phone and pics, throwing cash around, in front of your ears by Negroes getting slapped around, big shades to hide bruises on live she cruises, for heirs learn bad behavior, making excuses, take responsibility from parents, they learn rudeness, wise inherit honor, shame is claimed by foolish, mind manipulated mothers, excessive demands, heirs looking uncomfortable, twerking on the gram, lying ass parents say it's an African dance, making man prance under the hypnotic trance, mind overblown, they should be dethroned. Look at me, Medusa, turn your dumb ass to a stone.
Look at me, everybody, T&I-G, that's lame. Look at me, everybody, T&I-G, that's lame, y'all. Look at me, everybody, T&I-G, that's lame. Look at me, everybody, T&I-G, that's lame, y'all. Growing up on the tech side, digital sex side, keyboards collide, it's full job, hands bound to keypad. Getting big mad in real life, just bounce like white pads. Time pass, move fast, digital alien. 5, 6, 7 cents, got a powerful element. Magnetic radiant, matrix sucking your blood. Unplug, great again, go play in the mud. 5 minutes of fame, assault, feedogram love. Criminal creation, thief the next man's stuff. I'm Xing almanac, that's an original one. 5 maps to spread facts like a scientist does. I'm on the land, that's exactly where Lemuria was. Astro projects that, how did Buzz show up? Did he come out of lamp on a flying rug? From Atlantis, Mike Master with a saber that cuts. Look at me, everybody, T&I-G, that's lame. Look at me, everybody, T&I-G, that's lame, y'all. Look at me, everybody, T&I-G, that's lame. Look at me, everybody, T&I-G, that's lame, y'all. Look at me. T&I-G, that's lame, y'all. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Everybody, T&I-G, that's lame. Look at me. Everybody, T&I-G, that's lame, y'all.
That's a lot, Moors. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Honors to the Prophet. Honors to all the Moors in the chat. All the Moors who are going to eventually bump into this. Honors to you. If you have any questions, just put it in the chat in all caps. And keep in mind, right now, where'd that thing go? There it is. Keep in mind, read RV Bay every day. Wednesdays, every Wednesday, 7:30. You can get on the sessions with Mother Raz, Brother Minka, Brother Miz, and all the other Moors on there. Every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. It's paid classes, but you know Moors been putting in work for nothing. So shouldn't be anything to throw some finance to these Moors, since people like to throw finance to all type of other Moors doing BS out here. So every Wednesday, 7:30, you still got 2 hours to get your payment in and get your link sent to you. Don't forget, first Sunday of the month, Gianna Bay classes, Circle 7 classes, keep in mind, Moors been putting in work. So don't play like you can't support. Even if they're free, you could still throw a donation even if they're free. Right? Don't forget, it's always something going on. So keep yourself in tune. Every third Sunday, Sister Standing on Law. And you know, Sister Standing on Law been going on. So you should be in tune with this one. Of course, every third Thursday, Sons of Allah. Every third Monday, Enlightened Asiatics with Karima Bey. So there's a lot going on. There's enough going on for Moors to get themselves in tune. There's definitely enough going on. We also want to give a shout out. Also got to give a shout out to honeybay.com that has the Canaanland merch. So you can hit up honeybay.com, get your Canaanland long sleeve t-shirts, hoodies, short sleeve. And we also have, for the mothers, their short sleeve. Unfortunately, there's no long sleeves for the mothers, but we got short sleeve. Just got a big size, wear your long sleeve underneath, you'll be all right. And also, because you know Mars always talk about we need our own stuff to wear. I'm tired of wearing all these other people's stuff. So coming soon to sakinamore.com, getting your merch, your t-shirt merch at Sakinamore. Make sure you plug in and get whatever you can, because it's a lot. Lots going on right now. Moors are taking their place amongst the affairs of men. You can't forget to put the word out with the new book, Brother Kush Day. That's going to be dropping soon. You can get your pre-order in now before it's officially released. And you already know, based on all the lives and all that this is going to be another good one. So it's good to see Moors being active. It's good to see Moors finding their place, so that we can keep getting this word out to the people. We could keep getting this word out to the people on what is going on. Right? So there was a question in the chat. I'm pretty sure the Moors in the chat answered it. If purple means more in Turkish, is it safe? Everybody is not a Moor. The only people who have purple in their national flag was Haitians. Right? So of course, you know, the Moors in the chat, they don't hold back. They got nothing to hold back on. Moor is purple in Turkish, yes, dark purple, which is a universal color of royalty to Moors worldwide. And even when you go in through the Moorish literature, Juali makes reference to him wearing the purple and all that, going back to the same thing, that it's Moors, right? Dark purple represents the crown chakra. Right? Dark purple represents the crown chakra. Right? Keep also in mind that we're not speaking Turkish either. So Moor being purple in Turkish, it doesn't mean anything to me because I don't speak Turkish. Another side of it, Drew Ali said that we're not Negro black colored. Purple is a color, so we're not purple people. Even though Moor means purple, we're not purple. Right? All dark-skinned people are Moors. All dark-skinned people are Moors. Every dark-skinned human is a Moor. And many other lighter complexions have Moorish blood due to the fact that the dark-skinned people were the first people. And again, you have the reference point of, the dark hair, the dark eyes, and all that, the skin tones that aren't, too dark, a little lighter, but they're darker than modern European. So just remember that the Haitians also have the fez on the coconut tree on the flag. And you can go through all the South American countries, look at their coat of arms, look at their flags. You see that they got 5-point stars. They have liberty caps, aka soft fezzes on their flag, coat of arms, which again lets you know that they're connected to the Moorish paradigm. Right? So yes, purple. Moor means purple. Purple is relative to the darkest hued people because we're not purple people. We're not dark blue people. We're not dark brown people and all that stuff. We're Moors. Right? If that wasn't answered, just ask again. Just ask again in the chat. The other question in the chat: how does the original 13th Amendment apply to Moors? And again, when you just study the chat, you'll get your answers because Moors don't hold back. Sincere Moors, true Moors who are for the people and getting this information to our people, they're not going to send you on some wild goose chase about the 13th. Just stop the BS right at the door. Doesn't apply to Moors. All right. Now, if you're African slave or something like that, then maybe you can go there. But as far as Moors are concerned, there's no need to go there. Right? 13th Amendment keeps you a slave to the corporation, which we are nationals, not property. Right? Remember, we were here before we the people. We were here. Moors, dark-skinned people, we were here before we the people. Right? Nobody was saying we the people before they started doing their little constitutional articles of and all that stuff. There were people here before that, and we weren't talking about we the people and all that stuff. So when you start talking about 13 amendments and anything after 10, something's absolutely wrong, because there's only supposed to be 10 Bill of Rights. So when you start getting into 11, 12, 13, 20, 30 amendments, and nobody told you about constitutional convention in order to amend the Constitution by adding these stuff in, somebody's playing games with you. And more than likely, they're about to sell you out or put you in the burgers to eat you or something like that. So be very mindful when you start talking about enforcing Constitution that you stick to 7 articles, 10 Bill of Rights. That's Constitution. Anything else is corporate jurisdiction, and they're probably about to play you. Be careful. Don't be going there. Stick with the original. All right? Stick with the original. The original Constitution. 7 articles, 10 amendments. That's where you want to be going when you start talking Constitution. You don't need to go too far. It's very confusing, because you'll hear Moors bring it up, 13th Amendment, 20 sections, and when we go down, you don't want to get into it being a pattern that you're going past 10 amendments. Don't go past 10 amendments. Stick to the origin, right? We're original man, so stick with the original Constitution, and it would keep you within the bounds of constitutional law as far as the Americas are concerned, right? And again, keep your eyes in the chat, not for the trolls or whatever, but you might have some questions. I don't know it all, but with all these Moors in here, we'll definitely be able to clarify a lot. We'll definitely be able to clarify a lot. Right? Going back to the purple Vietnam War, Monsanto created Agent Orange, and they called it the purple people eater. And going back to what you're saying, more means purple. And if Agent Orange is the purple people eater, then what they do Agent Orange for? And what do you think they got, red for, and blue, and all these different stuff? Who do you think they're going after? Poisoning the food. You think they're going after some modern Europeans? Right? When they start playing games with your food, they're going after you and your babies. You and your children are in trouble. You don't worry about Europeans and stuff like that, because they got their own stuff going on. You don't worry about them. Know that the attack is on our people at all times. Everybody just gets caught up in it, because once you attack the foundation, right? Once you attack the foundation, you're looking at a building. Once you attack the foundation, the floors, the doors, the windows, the ceilings, and all that stuff don't stand a chance once you attack the foundation. And we're the foundation, right? So know that it's been constant that they're attacking us. They haven't stopped. They've been attacking. They will keep attacking. Once our people keep playing, they can have a nationality. They don't need a nationality. They can call themselves whatever they want and all that. Once they start going there, then you already know they're about to be put on the stake to get shish kebabbed, and then probably eaten after. Were the Moors forced to help European Christians enslave the Black Jews, aka Black Portuguese, during the Inquisition after they expelled from Spain in 1492? So the Moors and the Black Jews is the same people, dark-skinned people. So the Moorish, the Islamic Moors, and the Jewish Moors who were ruling got expelled, went in different directions, went back. Some went, north, some went east, some went west, some went south. There was, what they say, a stronghold that they dismantled. And they were only able to dismantle it because one individual gave it up, Boabdil. So once he gave it up, just like you're saying, Moors forced to help the European. It wasn't really forced like that. It was people who, during the Spanish Inquisition, that they had in the dungeons, these Moors tortured them, did all types of madness to them. And obviously they were, in prison and all that stuff during the Inquisition, because they weren't giving up the goods with all the torture and all that stuff that they did. And then there were ones who, succumbed to the torture and gave up the goods. No different than today. Same thing with today. They squeeze the right guy. He's gonna tell on everybody and get everybody locked up. And all they gotta do is find the right one. So I wouldn't say that it was forced. A lot of people on our side, once they see whoever's on top, they're running over there. They're not gonna fight for what's their own. They're just gonna go with whoever the victor is. Right? And remember as well that the only reason that they bring up the Moors, whatever, 1492, is because they knows Christopher Columbus, whatever, 1492, and they're trying to tie themselves to the history of the Moors. Right? It's constant that they have to merge, they have to fade themselves into Moorish history. That's the only way that they can tell whatever story that they're going to tell. It has to be tied to the Moors. Once it's tied to the Moors, and then the Moors start saying that they're black and all that stuff, now they control the narrative, which is what they've been doing. And again, if the question's not answered, just check the chat or, ask some more questions. And remember, put your questions in all caps so it doesn't get lost. And then, Cujo didn't read my question and all that, when, no, you didn't put it in all caps. That's why I just breezed over it. Because if it looks like everything else, I'm not even paying it attention. All right? So if there's any questions, just put it in the chat in all caps. And honors to the Moors, give thanks to the Moors for giving their little 2 cents. Because, as Moors, we study. And no one Moor studies it all. All different Moors are studying all different subject matters. And once you're around the right Moors, for sure, you'll get your answer. Guaranteed you'll get your answer. And I want to also address a couple things before we get to the questions. Everybody knows Chavez L's book. Well, we've been getting this reoccurring thing with this Chavez L talking crazy about Noble Drew Ali. And talking crazy about Moors who are in tune or aligned with Noble Drew Ali. Right? Everybody knows the books. But it's interesting that Moors have these perspectives of Noble Drew Ali, which again, makes me start thinking, well, are these people really on the Moorish paradigm? Because I can't figure out how a Moor is going to have an issue with Noble Drew Ali. Like I have no idea. You know what I mean? If you're saying that you're a Moor, the only reason you know that you're a Moor, and the only reason that you can say that you're a Moor, is because of Noble Drew Ali letting us know in the 1920s. Prior to that, ain't nobody was telling you that you're Moors and proclaim your nationality or whatever. So Drew Ali gets supreme honors. So he says that Moors are attacked and made fun of because of the negative baggage associated with Noble Drew Ali. So replace him with a better prophet that is respected amongst all of our people. I have seen Moors lose debate after debate when the negative information about Noble Drew Ali comes out, because Temple Moors have an emotional attachment to Noble Drew Ali since he is the Jesus Christ for Temple Moors. Islam predates Noble Drew Ali by far. So just return back to an older and more respected prophet that we had worshipped in America before Noble Drew Ali was born. Now again, the problem with all these other prophets is none of them told you about your nationality and your birthrights. All of them played games when it came to the Negro, black, colored people. They did whatever they did for their people who look like them. People in the landmass, that's their landmass. But these Negroes in America, oh yeah, no, we're slaves, and they start talking transatlantic slave trade and all that stuff, and they go there. I don't care who they are. None of them told us about our nationality and our birthrights. Now, I don't know what negative information about Noble Drew Ali he's talking about, but when you look at this so-called negative information about Noble Drew Ali, it comes from people who aren't down with the Moorish movement, or people who are trying to make a name for themselves, and they know the only way to make a name for themselves is to talk crazy about the Prophet. Now, again, majority of Moors, they have the books. We're not talking about the information or anything like that. All right, we know the information, the historically referenced information with regard to Noble Drew Ali, right, is correct. The historical information relative to the Moors, the historical information relative to America being these different ancient names that we might see in other places across the Atlantic Ocean going east, that yes, they're also here, guaranteed. But when people start talking about Noble Drew Ali, negative stuff and all that, they're probably studying from the wrong people. More than likely, they're studying from the wrong people, because there should be no more out there that has something negative to say about Noble Drew Ali or his teachings or his life or anything. Nothing, absolutely nothing negative should be said. Just like when you look at Muhammad and you talk to any Muslim, they're not going to tell you any negative stuff about his life. And then if you talk to any Buddhist, they're not going to talk to you any negative stuff about Buddha. And you talk to anybody who's Mohammedan, nobody's going to have anything to say bad about Muhammad. Well, it's the same thing with Moors and Noble Drew Ali. They shouldn't have anything negative to say. As soon as people with El Bayt Al Ali start talking about, well, see, Noble Drew Ali was right, and they start going into all that, know that these people are a traitor. These people are probably a sellout, and they absolutely have no intentions of you having this thing figured out properly. They probably got some package or something like that they're about to sell you, which is why they're throwing Noble Drew Ali under the bus, because they know that if they disrespect Noble Drew Ali and you don't defend it, then they know that they got you. They know they got you. As soon as they start talking crazy about Drew Ali, he plagiarized something or whatever like that, you already know that these people need to be looked at with the side eye. Do not take them serious. Do not take them serious. Right? The only individual to tell us about our nationality and our birthrights is Noble Drew Ali. No one was talking about that. No one was telling us we're not Negro, black, colored. No one. Everybody was fine with us being black. Everybody was fine with us being Negro and colored. There was no questions. No questions. There was no disagreement. There was no, hey, my skin's brown, so why are you calling me black? There was none of that. Everybody accepted the incompetence. Now 1920s comes around, Drew Ali starts telling us that we're Moors and all that stuff. Now negative. No, yeah, I'm not gonna listen to him. Don't listen to him. Oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And whatever else they're gonna say about him. Right? I have seen Moors lose debate after debate. There ain't no Moors lose any debates around here. Alim didn't lose his debate to Seti. Not even Sharif Bey lost his debate with Ali Muhammad. I didn't lose my debate with Ali Muhammad. I didn't lose my debate with Lord Abba. I didn't lose my debate. Brother Sheldon didn't lose his debate with Amin Ra Squad. Who else out there? Asir didn't lose any debates. Taj definitely didn't lose any debates. Raz definitely didn't lose any debates. Obashango, they don't even want to debate him. Jose Pimenta Bay hasn't lost any debates or been in any. So what do they mean? For Grand Sheikh Nature hasn't definitely lost the debate, and they definitely aren't going to go debate him. So when, again, he's El Bay talking about Moore's lost debate after debate and didn't name the debates, he's just trying to sell books. So we're going to start putting it out there. These type of people, stop buying their stuff, because obviously if they don't care about the profit, they don't care about you. All they want to do is sell their books. So F them and their book if they're talking crazy about Noble Drew Ali. F them and their book. If they're not talking about Noble Drew Ali in a positive light, forget them and whatever it is that they got. Right? What else had something in here? Or are black people Moors? Are black people Moors? Right? So you can get black people out of there, because there's no such thing as black people. Right? The Moors are any dark-skinned people. Those are Moors. I don't care what landmass they live on. If they're dark-skinned, they're Moors. And it's that simple. We don't need to go to get 50 books on the shelf. To just get a dictionary, look up Blackamoor. Blackamoor. Any dark-skinned person, especially an African Negro. African Negroes are in America. There ain't no African Negroes across the Atlantic Ocean. All those people over there have a nationality. So if a Moor is any dark-skinned person, but especially African Negro, then that would mean that the people who are classified as African and Negro, which are mainly the people over here, they're more Moors than anybody else is a Moor. And that's just dictionary definition. We're not even going far to go look. We're not even going far. We're just going to dictionary. Look up Blackamoor. Black-a-moor. Any dark-skinned person. And then if you go deeper into Blackamoor, it's going to eventually get to the point where it tells you that they took more off and they start calling people black. And then black stuck. And then we just start calling ourselves black without putting a Moor on it. So black people aren't Moors. Moors are any dark-skinned people, especially African Negroes. They're Moors more than anybody else. And again, it's you know, with our people, the indoctrination has been so much on our people. Right? The indoctrination has been so much that the lie has become truth to our people. So like we use the example again. You find any one of our people that says, I'm black, right? Ask any one of these people who say that they're black. What color is your skin tone? Brown. So how are you black if you're brown? You can't be black and brown at the same time. Like, how are you black but you're brown. Would you see something brown and call it black? So why do they do that with people? Because they've been socially engineered. They've been conditioned to think that colors are identities, even though no one else in the world calls themselves a color, even if they're that color. Right? No one. The only people who do that colorable stuff is our people. No one else plays that color game. Only our people play that. Yeah, and then the other thing is the continent thing. That we're two continents, and then nobody else is two continents. Everybody else comes from a country. And then we're the only people on the planet that's named after two continents. The only people who call themselves colors, two continents, are the people in North America who don't know themselves. But remember, all the people of Central America, South America, all of them got a nationality. They know themselves too. And they don't play that Negro stuff in any Spanish-speaking country. They don't do that Negro stuff. Only here. Only in North America do they play that black stuff. So always remember, keep it in mind, our people are Moors. Why are our people Moors? Because we're dark-skinned people, and us over here are especially Moors because they have us classified as African Negroes. They have us classified as colored people, which all those aren't identities. All those are labels, slave brands. And once you adopt or accept the slave brand, then you're a slave. So don't get mad when police murder you in the street. Don't get mad when church takes the house that your mom was supposed to leave for you. Well, your mom didn't pay her tithes, so we're taking the house and all that stuff. Right? Do not accept the slave brands as your identity. Do not accept the slave brands as an identity. They are not an identity. They are slave brands. And if you have adopted the slave brand, that means you are someone's property. That's all it means. You're someone's property. And once you're someone's property, then you don't even own yourself or anything that you think you own. So get it stuck in your head. Get it stuck that we're not Negro, black, colored. Yes, you're going to put on the TV there, we talk about this black stuff. You're going to put on the news there, we're talking black stuff. You want to do there, you're talking black stuff. Oh, the black man. You talk to all the different schools of thought. They got some black, whatever they're going to call you. Oh, they're going to justify blackness because the universe is black and the womb is black and under the dirt is black and blackness creates life. And we're not denying any of that. That's not identity. It's real simple. But our people don't like simple. Our people like advanced because they want to play like they're smart or something. And they're dumb like a bag of rocks. So if you're black calling yourself, like let's say the individual with the darkest skin on the planet, Darkest skin on the planet. Right? Go to the equator. Find somebody who lives on the equator. And you go ask them, hey, are you black? They're going to tell you, no, they're not black, even though they're black. And they're going to be adamant that they're not black, even though they're black. They look black, but they know that they're not black. They know they have a nationality. They know they have ancestors who were blacker than them. You think these people are black? You go back in ancient times, see some of the black people back then. And go ask them, hey, you're really black. Like, you a black man? No, I'm Congolese, I'm Senegalese, they're gonna tell you some nationality. Guarantee. You might just see one walking down the street one day. Just go ask them, yeah, are you black? Bet you they're gonna give you their national name. They're not gonna play that black stuff like our people play. Like, guaranteed they're not gonna play that black stuff. Not assuming, guaranteed they're not gonna play that black stuff. Right? And just Chavez again, right? Trying to sell the books. Drew Ali couldn't give his Moors one Morocco in the Americas to make his followers indigenous to the Americas. When I have found 12 Moroccos and several Moabs in the Americas. Yes, the empire of Morocco or Greater Morocco was in the Americas. Yeah, and Drew Ali told Moors that in the 1920s. That North, South, Central America and the adjoining islands is part of the Moroccan Empire. He said that in the 20s. No, he didn't name one Morocco. Yes, he did. He said North, South, Central America is Morocco. What do you mean he didn't? He didn't say. Who cares about 12 other Moroccos? I bet you all those 12 other Moroccos are in Morocco. I bet all those several Moabs are in Morocco. So be mindful of these people who call themselves scholars and all that stuff. A lot of these people are full of shit. Right? A lot of them. Full of BS. And all they want to do is push and sell their whatever it is that they have. That's what they're about. Selling their stuff. Right? This is the reason why they did it. Okay? Remember again that the point of these individuals talking crazy about Drew Ali is so that they can move something or sell something. Right? This is their game. Right? They're gonna talk BS about some more out there so they can try to sell you something. And then the stuff that they're selling you, they're not even gonna assist others with what they get. So for example, we could probably take a tally. How many Moors have the first America's the true old world book? And then we take the price of the book times how many ever Moors, and then that's how much finance he made from the book. Now, how much of that finance did he give to something Moorish after? Because remember, you know, as nationals, like all the other nationals, you're supposed to get the money and then it's supposed to circulate around us 1,500 times before it goes out of the community. So find out from these people when they get their finance, after you bought their whatever, what did they do with the finance that they got? Did it circulate? Or did it just go to somebody else who doesn't give a shit about the Moors? And you'll find it very surprising that these people who claim that they're Moors didn't even circulate the finance around Moors. They even say, okay, well, I sold, 1,500 worth of these books. 5 notes I'm gonna give to the Moors or something. Nothing. Everything goes right back out, which lets you know that they don't have any intentions. They never had any intentions. That's why we're saying, now that we know that this is how Chavez El Amunhotep El Bey feels about Noble Drew Ali, stop supporting his books. Let's see how good they do without Moors. Right? Without Moors pushing their stuff. Let's see how good they do. Right? So let's get to the email and see what questions we have in here. And again, anybody who has any questions, just put it in all caps in the chat. Why did our Prophet instruct people to put money at the post office instead of the bank? So there's, in the oral statements, just a little backstory. In the oral statements, there was a meeting, and a modern European came to the temple and was looking for Noble Drew Ali because Noble Drew Ali helped him save all of his finance, because he took his finance out the bank before the stock market crashed in 1929. And then when he went to go thank Noble Drew Ali for doing that, Noble Drew Ali was assassinated already. So the concept or the idea is that, I can't remember who it was, but one of these 1900 presidents or whatever. The United States Post Office was originally a United States saving system, or a United States postal saving system, right? So the system, the concept of the post office used to accept deposits there. Remember, this is early 1900s, right? The postal saving system allowed people to take their finance and deposit it to the post office. When you deposit it to the post office, then you don't have to deal with all the fees and whatever else that the bank, which, remember, the bank crashed. Right? Keep in mind that the bank crashed. So anybody who took their finance out of the bank and put it in the post office saved everything. They even used to call the post office the poor man's bank. Now, who are the poor people? And when we look 1900s, and we say poor people, who you think that we're talking about? Right? The people who don't have anything going on for them, right? Except going to this post office, because that's a public jurisdiction. Banks could be private. This is why they could tell niggers, we're not taking your deposits here. So what were these niggers going to do with their finance? They're going to go to the post office and put it in there. Now, when you look at them today, post office today, they just issue stamps and send stuff out and take stuff in, and that's what they're about, right? That's what they're about. The subject matter you would research is postal banking. Just look up postal banking, and you get so much information that your head is going to spin. Banking through the post office. Banking through the post office. And again, that was the poor man's bank. Now keep in mind the postal bank idea on this side, they don't play that stuff anymore. It's just like when you say just like when we say in certain jurisdictions, they talk about, yeah, the law enforcement is the sheriff, and then you go to the sheriff and the sheriff's not doing anything because all he deals with is evictions, and he doesn't deal with carrying out anything to do with de jure law. It was the same thing with the post office. Post office used to be a bank. They got rid of that. Now all they do is mailing and all that stuff, and you're thinking that that's what they're for, or that's what they do. Right? That's what they do now, but it wasn't always like that. At one time, the post office was the bank, right? And again, it goes back to this thing about, our people being behind, and then they're trying to implement things that haven't been done for how much ever years, right? They're trying to put things into practice that haven't been done in 100 years. And then when it doesn't happen, they're talking about sue somebody, and oh yeah, we should get them back because they're supposed to be doing. No, it's been 100 years. So you get them back. How about you start your own bank? How about stop wanting to go to these people all the time and set up your own stuff? Right? Like when we go to Black Wall Street and all them, right? That why would a place named Black Wall Street have a national bank? Why do they have a national bank? That's black, right? Isn't it? Or is somebody lying? And there was no such thing called Black Wall Street. These were indigenous people who realized that they can fend for themselves once they keep themselves together and spend their finance with each other. Eventually, they're going to need a bank. And then they set their own bank up. There wasn't some black people that were doing that. All those people were Aboriginal indigenous people out of the Trail of Tears that were tired of the BS from U.S. Corporation and said, we're going to start our own stuff. We don't need these people's city. We're going to go over here in the middle of this whatever, and we're going to build our own city. Built their own city. Right? Built everything. Everything, they built their own. They didn't ask a European for anything. Where'd all these people get this finance from? Where'd they get these smarts from if these are some slaves and some black people? Where'd they get it from? They just came out of slavery and then they're building a city? How'd they do that? How is it that they were able to do that? Obviously, they weren't black people and they weren't slaves. Obviously, they had some sense to them. Obviously, they were skilled individuals, skilled in many fields, right? Skilled in many fields, right? When we look at the historical narrative of our people fending for ourselves, it's always been successful. Always. It's never failed. How do we know that it's always been successful? We don't have anything to show because everybody burned the stuff down when they realized what our people were doing. Anybody who saw that as a threat found some reasoning, some discriminatory racial reasoning in order to get that stuff put away so that, you know, they're not going there. Right? They don't want to see our people have a leg up on the competition, because competition is very, very slim. Right? Competition is slim. You know, like we talk about on the plantation, you tell me all these niggers picking cotton. None of these people said, yo, let's just jump this guy on the horse. There's two guys on the horses riding around here talking about do this, do that, whip people or whatever like that. You tell me all these Negroes, all of them just said, nah, we're just going to sit here and pick cotton? All of them? None of them said, hey, why don't we just kick this guy off this horse and take over this land? None of them. Everybody was down with it. All right. I guess that's the story. But, you know, the story is always told by the ones who won the war. And you know, when you go check these wars that these people been fighting, our people been on the front lines of all their wars. So who was really, right? So don't get, since we're talking about the post office thing, we could also deal with this question before we get too far. What is statutory set-off? What is statutory set-off? Now, the fact that it's statutory means that it has nothing to do with Moors. Right? Because Moors don't deal with statutes. Statutes and Moors are diverse jurisdictions. So as soon as you hear a Moor say, oh yeah, set off, discharge debts, know that he's a con man and he's about to go in your pockets and take your finance. So we use this example with regard to set off all the time. I had a CIBC credit card in good standing, no issues with it, right? No issues. It was in good standing, payments being made and all that stuff. And got the same information. Well, this is a debt. It's supposed to be discharged. Why am I paying? So I wrote them to challenge the debt. CIBC, head office. Wrote them to challenge the debt. Sent in the writ asking them the questions, you know, prove the debt. Let me see the contract. Da, 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 da. They sent me back a letter. Credit card's been canceled. It's been sent to the law office of whatever the law office name was. And we want our $14,000 in full. Nah, you guys not getting $14,000 in full. Stuff was in good standing. You violated the contract by canceling the thing. So we got to go to court. So we go to court. Same thing, you know, sending my writ to the court, you know, asking the court or asking the law office who claimed that the debt is theirs now. All right, well, prove the debt. You know, let me see the contract. You know, let me see all the stuff. The judge, before it even got to the court floor, the judge said, you know what? We're going to go have a hearing and talk about this off the court floor. Judge said, I'm not dealing with this. You guys are going to have to figure out how you're going to get the money from him because I'm not dealing with this. I'm looking at them. So what do you guys want to do? We're going to sort this thing out or you want to keep playing games? Well, you got to pay the client is demanding that you pay everything and all that stuff. About 1996, about 1996 to about 2005, I used to work in collections. So I already know these people's game with regard to collecting and all that stuff. I already know their game. I already know all the Fair Debt Collections Act and all that stuff, because I used to be the one making people's grandma mortgage their house to pay off credit cards, because you know what I mean. I know the game, right? We're getting payments in full and all that stuff, because there's tricks to the trade when it comes to this stuff. So they're trying to pull their tricks of the trade on me. I'm like, you guys can't pull no stuff on me. I used to be in collections. I already know you can't call me more than 3 times a day. I already know as soon as I tell you cease and desist, you got to cease and desist. But I'm not going there with you. I already know that I used all the finance that's on there. The whole 14,000. I already know I used it. I know I used it. But I'm not giving you guys jack, because I know that you guys bought the debt from them, and now it's your debt, and I never got any finance from you. So why am I paying you? Well, you gotta do something or whatever like that. Knowing that once it's a bought debt, it can be settled below 40%. Made them an offer. Well, I'm not gonna give you 14,000, but I'll give you 6. And then just clear everything up, update the credit bureau, do all that stuff. No, we can't do that. We got to get the 14th. All right, you guys keep playing. I can sit on this. I don't have to move. I can sit on this. Okay, how about this? Right now, I got 4. I'll pay you 4 right now, and I'll give you the other 2 in whatever time frame. They accepted. I had the 6, but you're playing games with them, right? I had the 6. So gave them the 6, made the payment, got my settlement letter. Yep, we're going to update your credit bureau. Your balance is now 0. Thank you very much, Mr. Kudro Adwo L, and all that stuff. Keep in mind that the debt wasn't in the name Kudro Adwo L. The debt was in the straw name. How is it that Kudro Adwo L got to deal with these matters, get it resolved, without saying that I'm the straw? Why are they sending me letters to Kudro Adwo L when it wasn't Kudro Adwo L's credit card? That's not whose credit card it was. So I got the thing settled, 14,000 that I know that I used, settled for 6. That's statutory set off, because it's their debt. It's not my debt. It's their debt. So if anybody's going to discharge anything, it has to be them that discharge it. It can't be you telling them discharge this debt, because it's not your debt. Especially if you're saying I'm El Bay, I'm a sovereign, I'm whatever like that. Well, if you're a sovereign, then you're a creditor. And if you're a creditor, why are you talking about debt issues if you're secured party creditor? Creditors means that you don't have debt. Creditor means you don't have debt. So the only people who can statutory set off are the people who own the debt. Another example. Some Moors had a mortgage with Wells Fargo. Same thing, right? You're telling me that I owe. I don't think I owe, because I already know that you can't prove the debt. They sent their writs to the Wells Fargo and all that stuff, prove the debt, let me see the, just questioning them on things relative to this thing called a mortgage. Is mortgage a dead pledge? And if it's a dead pledge, then who who's dead and who's the pledge and all that stuff, Wells Fargo wrote them back. Wells Fargo wrote them back. Here's the letter. We apologize. Your debt's clear. House is yours. They took the paper that they got. House is clear. And they showed it to Moors. You see, this stuff actually works. Like, this is not some fake stuff that people are talking about. This actually works. That they will discharge their debt. Moors took the paper, went to their whoever. See this paper? It says whatever like that, da da da. What do you think these people did? Went back to Wells Fargo. Told them, well, how are you doing this? You can't do this or whatever like that, da da da. Wells Fargo put the debt back on. The debt that they took off, put it back on. And now these Moors basically went underground because they couldn't believe that Moors would do that. Instead of taking the information, studying the information, and doing what they did, Moors, lazy, fat Moors, who didn't want to do what those other Moors did, they didn't want to study or anything like that. They wanted some microwave stuff. They took the stuff and baited up the whole scene, messed up these people's whole thing. Now nobody could get anything discharged. And they went underground. They said F these Moors, and they went about their business, whatever they're doing right now with their life, who knows. Debt could only be set off by who owns the debt. So if you're talking about statutory set off, you have to convince the people who have the debt that this needs to be set off. And they don't take convincing like that because they already know the game that they're running. So once you're talking about discharging set off, always remember the only individual who can discharge the debt, the only individual who can discharge the debt is the one who owns the debt. If you don't own the debt, you can't discharge it. You can request that they do, but are they going to do it is what you're going to find out. And who knows, you might send them the thing and they actually say, yeah, we'll discharge it. We can't answer your questions. So instead of acquiescing and then you having evidence against us when we take you to court to fight for this finance that we know that we can discharge or whatever like that, and then you're bringing up the evidence that, well, I sent them these questions and the judge is looking at the questions and he's reading the questions to them and he's asking, well, did you answer these people's questions? Because they're asking some very needing to know questions in order for them to pay you. And then they say, well, nah, then the judge is going to throw the stuff out and then the house is going to be yours anyways. So instead of going through all that, if you really press them and you ask the right questions, you just might get this thing discharged, whatever the debt is. But you have to ask the right questions. And also keep in mind that all this stuff is free on RV Bay Publications under the section called mortgage fraud. All the questions that you need to answer, all the examples are there for the people if they want it. All the answers are there for the people if they want it. But, our problem, our people's problem is that we want stuff tomorrow. We don't want to work. We don't want to put in work. Like the Moor said, the only way out is hard work. You're not gonna be lazy and get anything done. That's not how stuff gets done. If you want ditches dug, you either go get yourself Deere tractor or something like that and dig the ditches, or you go get the shovel or something like that, dig the ditches. If you don't do that, ditches aren't getting dug. That's just what it is. The wall is messed up. You got to paint. You're not gonna just put the can down and then the paint's gonna jump on the wall. You're gonna have to tape up the stuff and tape the baseboards and all that stuff. You know, you have to take off all the doorknobs, tape the doorknobs or whatever, and get to work. The only way that our problems are going to be solved is if we solve them ourselves, right? Is a CRA debt imposed on a Moor dischargeable, and how? It goes back to the same thing. For example, again, when CRA presses me every year about you owe whatever taxes, yeah, you did do the taxes, right? Don't not do the taxes, do the taxes, right? Because you're gonna get a response. And then the response that you get, then you start fighting from then. When CRA presses me about you owe whatever because, you know, we didn't take out enough or whatever the case is, and I send them my letters. This is every year, and I've been doing this since 2011. Actually, no, not 2011. 2014, 15, somewhere around there. Started saying, you know what, forget these people. I'm challenging them. CRA, Canada Revenue Agency. I'm challenging them every time that they say I owe them something. I'm challenging them. You know, prove the debt. Bill of Exchange Act says that there's no money. I can't pay you. So why are you asking me to send you money or whatever like that? Send them the writs. I get no response. But I realize that every year the debt's not adding up, which lets me know that something's going on, because the stuff should be adding up every year. There should be additions on every year, right? I realize that that's not happening. Second thing I realized that's not happening is all those little nigger handouts that they used to give, not baby bonus, what's the thing called again? Tax credit this and whatever credit that and whatever credit that. Those stop coming. They just withhold those and put them to the debt. Well, all that stuff is theirs, so they could do whatever they want with that. From 2000, if I owe 1,000 every year from 2015 to now, right? So 2023, and it's 1,000 every year that I owe. All the stuff should be adding up, right? Every year when I get the thing from them saying you owe, it should have last year's stuff added onto it, right? Now, I don't have child tax benefit and all that stuff. That's thousands. That's like a couple hundred or something like that. That's maybe a $50. Oh yeah, every 3 months we give you 50 notes or whatever. They're taking all that stuff back and applying it to the debt, which, hey, that's fine for me. I mean, I ain't want nothing from you people anyways. But all of it is the same concept that you're gonna find on the RV Bay Publications website, which certain people who are claiming that they're Moors and they're teaching people, they should be sending people to the free website for them to go learn, not charging them $5,000 for some process that they're claiming that, yeah, well, if you give me $5,000, we're gonna do this process for you. No, they ain't no doing anything for Moors. Moors gonna do for themselves. You're gonna go to the website. All the stuff is there, and it's the same thing that you're doing as with a mortgage. You're challenging them on this debt that they're claiming that you owe them. You're challenging the debt, and you want them to prove the debt. And because you're sending it in writing, because you're asking them, demanding them, threatening them that if they don't respond, whatever, right? If they don't respond, then you're going to use this evidence against them because they're in default, right? If they're going to be in default, and you're going to use this against them, right? More than likely, if it goes to court, you're going to win because they're in default, and you have your evidence to prove that you're in default because you sent something to them and they didn't respond to you. But then every time they send you something, they're expecting you to respond to them, and then they never respond to you, and then you never think that something's wrong here, that they're trying to do something, right? Does CRA have the power to garnish the CPP of a Moor? The CPP would never be a Moor's because Canada pension plan is going to be connected to the social insurance number, which the social insurance number is property. That's not a Moor. This is why Noble Drew Ali told Moors in the 1920s, all old business, leave it as it is. All new business, do it in your free national name. Moors' issue is that they start getting this information and they want to try to apply this new information to the old life that they've been living, which it's a conflict of interest. Because you can't apply this to you can't say, I'm Jeffrey Smith. And 2 minutes later, well, I'm Jeffrey Smith Bay. And Jeffrey Smith Bay owns the rights to Jeffrey Smith. So everything that Jeffrey Smith owns belongs. That's not, you can't do that. You can't do that. Because they don't match. They don't mesh. Again, Drew Ali told Moors, and that's another thing that they don't do. These whoever's, they don't let you know about Noble Drew Ali and what he brought you. If they would have let you know about Drew Ali and what he brought you, then you wouldn't get caught up in getting garnished and getting this and losing that and losing the house and losing the car because you're trying to do things that there's no need to do this. For example, there was a Moor. There was a Moor who he had the ability to make 100,000 a year or something doing his job. Right? He was a, I think he was a teacher or something like that. Right? Teacher. 100 grand a year. Well, I'm a Moor. I shouldn't have to work and I shouldn't have to do this, So I'm gonna, sell Moorish hats because I'm a Moor. I don't want to work with this institution anymore or whatever like that. So he gave up the 100 grand a year to sell Moorish hats. Now he's broke. Now he's living out his mom's basement or whatever because his dumbass doing what he loved to do to make 100 grand. He didn't want to do that because he's a Moor. Lost everything when he could have got the 100 grand a year and used that to fund the Moorish hat business and have both of them going on. But like you said in the song earlier, Moors are lazy. They want stuff tomorrow. They were Negro black colored struggling for 40 years. Now they're a Moor. They want stuff tomorrow. They'll struggle. Oh, we don't want to struggle no more. We don't want to struggle. We want this right now. Play themselves. So yes, CRA does have the power to garnish their property's paycheck or their property's pension plan. The problem is, just like the Moor said, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. Once Caesar gets his thing, Caesar's not concerned with you. Caesar doesn't even care about you once Caesar gets his whatever. And the question you have to ask yourself is, are you ready, willing, and able to give up whatever it is so that you don't have to deal with Caesar anymore? You could just deal with yourself. And again, keep in mind too that your answers aren't fully manifest in some 2-hour lecture, some class or something like that. It doesn't work like that. It won't work like that. You could think that it's going to work like that. It ain't going to work like that. Okay? It's not going to work. We have to accept the fact that we are a damaged, traumatized, socially conditioned, and engineered people. So before you start talking about implementing this and implementing that, and I was watching this class and then he said that all we got to do is put 2 dots over the I, and when you put 2 dots over the I and underline it in red, that means the European's going to leave you alone. Well, did you study that before you did that, or are you just going with that because this guy said? Because Juali also told you that man knows not by being told. So if man knows not by being told, then somebody telling you something isn't the all and be all. You better take what was told to you and then go study that for 5 years. And then after 5 years of study, now you make a decision on what you're going to do. You're not just going to, because this guy said 5,000, we'll just give him 5,000 and then stuff's going to be solved tomorrow. That's not how this works. That's not how this works. That's how our people been trained to think that this works like that, the Moorish paradigm, because they've been listening to traders the whole time. Right. Another question. How does divinity top paperwork and processes? How does divinity top paperwork and processes? Divinity tops paperwork and processes because the paperwork and processes aren't going to work if you're not divine. Again, going back to Noble Drew Ali and why he said this is a divine and national movement. National is the paperwork and the processes. Divine is, are you in tune with yourself? Are your chakras aligned? Is your mind working properly? Is your mind and your heart connected? Are you breathing properly? Are you breathing from your lungs or are you breathing from your stomach? What's your diet? Are you eating high energy foods or are you eating dead foods? All this stuff applies, which is why this is not some overnight process. Oh, I'm a Moor. Oh, I know that I'm a Moor, so now I'm going to start being a Moor. You can't be what you don't know. Oh my gosh, water's leaking out the bottom of the sink. You're not just going in there with a wrench and just unplugging stuff and all that. You're not just starting to unscrew stuff just because you see water. You have to know what you're doing. That's why you're going to go out and you're going to call the professional and let the professional assist you. You're not just going to run in. Everybody's talking about gunfights, and you're running in there with a bat talking about, yeah, let's go. You end up injuring yourself, injuring other people, putting other people at discomfort and disadvantage because of your eagerness to do something that you're really not qualified to really do. So all the stuff we're talking about, discharge debts, ascending writs, sue somebody, all that stuff that we're talking about is processes and paperwork. None of that is going to work if your chakras aren't aligned properly. None of that's going to work if you're using your animal mind and not your reasoning mind. If you're using your instinct mind, the stuff is not going to work. It's just like when Moors go to some type of trying situation, right? The mantra is, you do the whatever, don't let the thing do you. So if it's jail, is that you do the time, don't let the time do you. If it's school, you learn the lessons, don't let the lessons rule you. If it's trade, you go in there and learn the trade. Don't let the trade learn you. So you're going to end up playing yourself. Because everything that we do is mental first, and then it's physical. So if we say, well, I wanna do whatever process. I want to proclaim my nationality. How do you do that? Well, you got to get these papers, and then you got to get the card, and then you got to know who you are, and then you got to whatever like that. All right, well, here's the 500. Let me start. No, that's the wrong way to look at it. That's the absolutely wrong way to look at it. What you should be wanting to do is getting your energy right first. Like we say, somebody went to jail, and they did 20 years. Then they get out here, and then they're talking about, go start doing stuff. No, you got to detox those 20 years first. You said that you were Negro, black, colored for 30 years, and then tomorrow you find out that you're a Moor. Well, you got to detox those 30 years of being dumb nigger before you start doing the Moor stuff. Because when you start doing the Moor thing, you're going to think that things are all smooth and the boat's sailing, everything's good or whatever like that, until you get in a storm on the ocean. And it's 500-foot waves and all that stuff, and you don't know what to do. You don't want to put yourself in those type of situations, right? In order to make sure you get out the situation. But just remember, all is mental. So it starts with divinity before you start doing anything. If you start doing processes and paperwork and all that stuff before you start doing divine, don't worry. In a few steps, you're gonna realize, oh shit, I don't think I'm ready for this. Right? Because divine is first. Why do you continue to do what you do, knowing only a handful will be saved? Why do you continue to do what you're doing, knowing only a handful will be saved? Because all we got to do is save one. So if I could save one every day, then I'm good. But when my time comes for the judgment seat, or my time comes for weigh the heart against the feather and all that stuff, all I got to do is save one. That's all. So knowing that the odds are in my favor, if I save one, then why not keep doing what I'm doing? To save the handful. And then keep in mind that I'm in the handful too. You know what I mean? Even if I'm dangling off a fingernail or something like that, I'm gonna be in the handful. And I know that, right? You never have to be climbing up the wrist or something like that. I'm gonna be in the handful. I'll make sure that I'm in the handful. That's reason enough. Try to be in the handful. That's reason enough to keep doing what I'm doing. Just to make sure that I'm in the handful. Because it's really only going to be a handful saved for real. Because we're looking at the time that we've had a building here. And we've been putting in this work. And all the Moors who've been supporting over the years, right? They're getting something from this. It's all about them getting something. It's not about the line up out the door, going around the building and all that stuff. We don't need all those people, because 80% of those people, they're going to fold in 2 weeks. 20%, they're in for the long haul. Trials, tribulations, trip, fall, scrape something. They're going to get up, dust off, keep going. They're not going to fold. 20%. So we're going to ride with the ones in the handful that want to be saved. And keep in mind, they have to want to be saved. You're not saving anybody. They have to want to be saved. And I know I want to be saved. So if I want to be saved, I know I'm not the only one that wants to be saved. I'm pretty sure that there's others out here who want to be saved too. And once I could connect with those ones, then we're definitely going to get some things done. Most positively sure that we're going to get some things done. Even if it's just 2 of us, we're going to get some stuff done. All right. What should new Moors be aware of coming into the information so they won't become package sellers? What should new Moors be aware of coming into the information so that they won't become package sellers? I think the most important thing, going back to what we were talking about just now, is that this is divine first. So if you like, for example, I know that the forces of nature don't play games. The ancestors don't play games. Allah doesn't play games. So I'm not playing games when it comes to certain things, right? There's some people who they don't have any honor in them. So it's no big deal for them to tell somebody 5,000 for some papers. Stuff is all lopsided, all the fonts are different, you can't read things, stuff misspelled wrong, and they said $5,000 for that, and they're comfortable saying $5,000 for that. Well, those people are demons. Those people are lower self. And so be aware that there's a higher of yourself and there's a lower of yourself. The lower of yourself will become a package seller. The lower of yourself will become a womanizer. The lower of yourself will become a dirty Moor. The higher of yourself knows what the lower self is, and it's not going there. And if you could maintain staying on the higher side, you're going to be all right. So new Moors should be aware that you have a higher self and a lower self. And once you go toward the lower self, then that's you becoming a demon. That's you becoming a devil. A devil is going to take somebody's last rent money, or their first and last, or their savings, or their whatever, and sell them some stuff that means nothing. That's what a demon will do. Somebody who's in their higher self, they would already see that demon coming from a million miles away and know, hey, that guy's about to try to play me. I already know what they're trying to do. You see it in their eyes. You could hear it when they talk, hear it in their voice. You could feel it in their energy and know that I don't know, I don't want to trust this guy. Every time I talk to this guy, he's mentioning his Cash App. There's something wrong here. Because, again, Noble Drew Ali said, this is free. You're not supposed to be paying no $5,000 for this. You're just not. That's just what it is. You're not supposed to. But people do it. And people do it because they don't have full knowledge of what's going on. And so be absolutely aware that there are people out there that are package sellers. There are people out there that are consultation chargers. That if you want to have a phone call about your situation and all that stuff, then, $500 an hour and we'll help you with your situation. As soon as you hear those type of talks, know that they're a fraud. Because as Moors, we have a holy covenant. And our holy covenant says that we're supposed to assist each other when we're in adversity. They didn't say charge anybody anything. We're supposed to assist each other when there's adversity. That's what you're just supposed to do. That's just what you're supposed to do. Assist those who need it. Don't forsake. Right? Assist. Because what? Do unto others, so you have to happen to you. What advice would you give Moors to help spread information to the loved ones about nationality without causing issues? Well, before you start spreading information to loved ones, make sure the loved ones want to know. Because if they don't want to know, don't even waste your time. Right? Don't waste your time. If you're talking about sharing information, someone has to want to receive what you want to share. If they, the loved ones, don't want to receive it, then do not waste your time. That doesn't mean that you're going to cut them off and, whatever like that. Because, like for example, this weekend, we're going to go do the Thanksgiving and all that stuff because, I want to eat. I want my plate and all that stuff. I ain't giving up my plate because these people don't want to accept my nationality or whatever. I ain't care nothing about that. I want my candied yams and all that stuff. I want my corn on the cob. I want my black cake and all that. So I want my homemade lemonade. I ain't giving up some homemade lemonade and all that stuff because these people don't want to know or they're not asking whatever. But guaranteed, you're going to be there with the Moorish drip, so everybody's going to be asking, oh, wow, what's that on your shirt and all that stuff? Oh, wow, what's that thing that you got? Oh, you wore the thing again. Oh, we could have some conversations. Now, the information's spreading, but it's in a natural setting. It's not in a, you got to teach them, and then you got to, no, it's just, you're chilling here and you got your Star of David pendant or whatever like that. But you're Jewish? I didn't know you were Jewish. Why are you wearing the Star of David and all that stuff? Oh, I never know you wore turbans. How come you're wearing a turban and all that? Now, the conversation's natural. It's not you're trying to put them on something because you know something and then, they don't want to know. So now you're offended because, well, you should want to hear from me because I'm your uncle and don't even kill yourself. If they want to know, they'll ask you. But you can do things to stimulate them wanting to know, opposed to, coming in there with the Black's Law Dictionary and all that stuff. And because you already know niggers don't read. So as soon as they see you come with books, they're going to be intimidated and shut down. It's just like I'm saying earlier with the thing with the collections thing or whatever like that. You gotta know game. You gotta peep game. Because the guarantee there's gonna be issues when you start bringing up certain stuff and then you start realizing that, Oh, well, grandma and uncle, whoever, and they were Masons and all that stuff. And you're starting to find out info that you would have never found out just because you had a fez on, just because you had a shirt on with Noble Drew Ali on it. And people question, what, Noble Drew Ali? Who's that? I never heard about that guy before. So you want to make it, we got to be the bigger people because we're the ones with knowledge, right? We're not the dummy. We're the ones who know. So if we know, right? If we are in the mindset of we know and somebody else does not know, then you're not taking what you know and putting it on them. Like, for example, my mom's, into her go to church and all that stuff, right? Say, oh yeah, I remember you going to church and stuff like that. I remember, you love Jesus, don't you? Yeah, Jesus, my Lord and Savior, and all that stuff. Oh yeah, you love Jesus. Okay. You ever find it interesting that you got up to Jesus when he was 12 years old, and then you start talking about Jesus when he's 30? You ever wonder what happened to the 18 years of Jesus' life or whatever? Never thought about that. Yeah, whatever happened to the, and then just slide the Quran to her. Well, this says Quran on it. No, don't worry about it. This says Quran. It says right there, for those who love Jesus. You got that part? You love Jesus, don't you? Yeah? Oh, all right. Ain't nothing to talk about anymore after that. That's that. If something comes up after, it comes up. Right? Or another example. The whole thing with the forcing, right? You don't call me that name. I changed my name. You can't tell me that. Nope, I named you whatever, so I'm gonna call you. All right. Went to the phone company. Hey, I get a phone, but I changed my name. Could I change my name on the phone, whatever like that? Yeah, you could change your name. Okay, all right. I want to put this name on it. Dial up the number. You got call display. One name's popping up on the thing. Oh, now they have no choice but to call me the name that I want now, because now it's popping up on the call display. Now they're gonna look like the dummy saying the name that they want to say and they're emotional or whatever like that, opposed to the name that's on the call display. They're gonna look like the dummy. And majority of people don't want it. They don't want to look like a dummy. They don't want to look like a jerk. They don't want to. So we just have to know how to, I don't want to say play the game, but play the game. Don't take it personal. You already know our people don't have it all complete in their head. You already know they don't have it fully there. So don't get mad. You know what I mean? If they don't want to accept certain things and all that stuff, and they want to call you the straw name still and all that, don't be mad. Don't stress yourself out over that stuff. And then you're mad and stressed out and arguing with save yourself the headache, right? Obviously, this is not for them if they're not going to take it as serious as you're taking it. Make your life be meaningful to you. Make your life be meaningful to you. How could knowing you are a Moor be any different than calling yourself black? That again has to deal with where they're at. Somebody who considers themselves black, they're not gonna accept that they're a Moor. They're black and now right? They're not gonna accept that they're a Moor. That's all right. They don't have to. But going back to the next question, does nationality help you with spiritual connection, meditation, correct guidance, etc.? So them being black Well, before we go there, you putting them on to they're a Moor, not black. Them saying, nah, F you, I ain't hearing none of that, or whatever like that. I'm black, guarantee they're about to fall off something, crash their car, whatever. Some stuff's gonna go on with them, and they're gonna come back complaining to you. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that this happened, whatever like that, you know. And then you slowly say, oh, maybe it's because you're black. Well, why would that happen because I'm black? Well, you know, you ever look up black? You know, black's everything negative, right? You ever look up black? You notice black is everything negative? Why would you put that on yourself? You ever notice only negative stuff happens to you? And then if they're sincere, they think about it for a few seconds, then light bulbs start going off in their head and they say, damn, actually, ever since you told me about this Moor thing, I haven't stopped seeing more things. Every movie I watch, there's somebody on there named Morgan, Moray, Moore, Dr. Moore, and all this stuff. And it never really registered with me. You know, eventually they're going to get it. Some of them won't. But again, ain't nothing to get mad about, stressed out, and all that stuff. It's all about you knowing. This is your walk. This is your path that you're walking. And then people are either going to be on your path or they won't. You know, and I mean, you know, sometimes they're off your path into the bushes way over there. You know, let them walk their bush path. That's for them. They want to walk through the poison ivy and all that stuff. Let them go learn. Everybody has to learn in their own way. Just don't shut the doors. Right? Drew Ali said, keep the doors open, because eventually these people are going to come to their senses. Right? There's people who 2008, when I came into this, I told them I put them on game. And 2020, you know what? I was actually checking out what you said 10 years ago, and everything you were saying was actually right. How do I proclaim my nationality? You know, then you give them the high five or whatever like that. You give them the RV Bay publications, and then you send them on their way. You don't need to be, you know, training wheels. You know, it's like Derrick Rose said to Ja Morant, I'm here to babysit you, huh? Don't even get it twisted. I'm not your babysitter. I will take your job. You know, I'm the first. I'm the first. Before you people started playing your little games, I was the man. Right? So the main thing is knowing that this is divine before it's physical. And don't think that what you're saying and what you're doing, because they're giving off this defensive thing, that stuff's not getting through. Stuff's getting through. When Moors call that sneak studying. Right? Sneak studying is when, you know, you've been beating them in the head with it so much and all that stuff, man, they're not getting this or whatever like that. And then one day you have a conversation with them and they stop saying kids and they stop calling people black and they stop calling people white. And like, hold on a second. You been studying or something? Nah, I wasn't really studying or whatever like that. You know, you want something to drink and all that stuff, and they're trying to divert attention away from the fact that they're learning stuff, but they don't want to admit that they're learning stuff because there's this ego thing going on with our people and knowledge of self, and you know, but little by little, you'll hear them correcting in their language, and you know, I was doing some research and I wanted to know, you know, have you ever heard of lion's mane and all that stuff, and should I be taking that? Do you meditate? Well, how can I start meditating? They start asking you these questions that, hey, you're actually studying something, huh? You know, they might get a little blush in there or something like that. Not really, right? But you know, it's all part of the journey. You know, it's all part of the journey. It's a beautiful journey. You know, once you get on the path, You see how beautiful it is once you get on the path. Like for real, you get on the path and you see how beautiful this thing is, right? But know that everybody is gonna get this when they're supposed to get it. You know, I say nothing before it's time. You know, you're not gonna, you know, like the people who, you know, you told them, then 20 years later, hey man, what you were saying was right. I told you so. I told you that I was right. You know, no, you're not gonna, you know, you're gonna encourage them. You know, I mean, oh wow, that's great. You're starting to see the light now. All right. You know, well, you know, if you have any questions, you know, feel free to ask, or, you know, check this out. You know what I mean? I heard you're making moves now. You know what I mean? Here's something to take in, whatever like that. You know, you don't gotta kill them because they didn't, or because they, you know what I mean? Let them be. They're on their journey. Some people, you tell them, immediately they're on it. Right? And then all the reference points that you give them, they're gonna go out and they're gonna see these reference points in their face, and it's gonna inspire them more. And you know, you and them you're gonna get tired of them calling you up so much because they want to build and they want to talk. Like, God damn, like you're on this stuff more than I was on it when I got this info. You know, and some of them, it's literally it's gonna be 20 years, and the light bulb's gonna go off for them. You know, that's just what it is. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. Got one more question, and honors to all the Moors who sent questions, conscious, unconscious, Moors in the chat who had questions, Moors in the chat who gave their input. You already know how we do over here. You know, we're all one. We're all one. Figuring out this madness. What would be some tips, advice to try and guide the youth into this movement, more or less in the age range of 18 to 20? Seems like the younger children, 8 to 11 years old, soak up the info better than the ones in the 10 to 20 category. One of the things that allows the younger ones to get it is because they're less tainted. So when you're dealing with the 18 to 20, you got to use the things that they're in to get them, right? And again, some of them are going to get it right away. The light bulb's going to start going off and they're going to start questioning everything. Then some of them is going to take a little more. So with the 18 to 20, you look at, you know, whatever realm them in. Some of them are in the video game realm. Some of them are in the music realm. You know, their interests. You know, what are their interests, and then the Moorish connection to their interests. Because remember, you're not we keep looking at the perfect example is subscribers and followers and whatever like that, right? You got Moors that got all these followers and all that stuff. Oh yeah, that Moor has how many ever followed? How many of them have proclaimed who it is that they are? Maybe not any. You know, maybe very few have actually went through the I'm a Moor and now they're standing on the fact that they're a Moor. Majority of people are going to be about gathering information first, right? So you find out where they're at, the 18 to 20 range, find out where they're at, what are their interests, and then making the Moorish connection to whatever they're already interested in. So for example, with the ball people, right? Sports people or whatever, right? You would use the Moorish connection to sports, you know, showing them all the Olmec games, showing them all the different Moors who they know, right? Moors who they know, that it didn't even register to them that, oh, these people are Moors, right? Or that they have some type of connection to the Moors, right? If they're in, any type of the arts, drawing, dancing, things like that, the Moorish connection to that, finding their favorite, whoever it is, the Moorish connection to whoever they think is the pinnacle of their existence and who they look up to or whatever like that. Because we already know the entertainer people been telling, the sports people, they've been telling, the movies, they've been telling, but also remember that the 18 to 20s and those ones, they're starting to get concrete in their existence. We were talking about it in the Sunday Quran class about being supple, being able to mold, be like water, like Bruce Lee said, be like water, don't be like concrete. So if we can get the 8 to whatever to be like water the whole time, by the time they get to 1820, they're going to be still able to absorb and take. And the 18 to 20s, if they haven't been on the info, they're starting to get concrete. So you're going to have to, in order for them to get out of that stiff position, you're going to have to get them to start, you're going to have to meet them where they are and find the Moorish connection where they are in order to get them to be 21, 22 and getting into the more, movable and agile place with regard to the information, because they want to know, it's just like Moors always say, Moors who are in their 30s, 40s, or whatever, I always say, oh man, if I had this info when I was 15, 16, oh man, I would be, that's the mindset. All right. So what info, being that we're, in the adult bracket, what info do we see that they need in order for them to get to that place where, we're not saying, or they're not saying, oh, when I was 18, I wish I had somebody to tell me about, just like how we were talking. You know what I mean? Because they want to know. Everybody wants to know something. It's just knowing the right thing. And fortunately, Moors, we have a upper hand, because we have what everybody wants, but they don't want to admit that they want it. And the only way that they're going to admit that they want it is after they get it. And then once they get it and they realize what it is, because remember, we're only looking at the 2 that want to be saved, right? That's where this is going. We want the 2 that are 100% in. We don't want the other 90 who, well, I don't know, and okay, yeah, well, you give them stuff and eventually they'll get there. But the ones who really want to know, they're going to latch onto you. They're going to be like a leech. They're going to be stuck on you. They want to know every day, all day, what, they're going to be sending you videos and stuff like that. And so what do you think about this one? Well, should I watch this? Right? And then once they're in that place of, wow, they're receptive, now you could start feeding them. Oh yeah, you know what? You should try, and then you already know who the people are. You already know that you could send an 18 to 20-year-old, a seer or something like that. And they'll gravitate, just because of the energy, who he is. Oh yeah, he got fronts and he got some chains, and they're going to look at his Moorish different than they'll look at yours, who is, no fronts, and you know, you might not have a bottle next to you or whatever like that, right? But honors to all the Moors worldwide. Honors, supreme honors to you. Don't forget, it's about to be on. It's 7:30, so that time. Again, we give thanks to all of the Moors worldwide. Study, study, study. Supreme honors to you for studying, for knowing yourself, for being yourself. Honors to you. Honors to all the mothers out there. We know that it's a lot. We know it's a lot. We're grateful for life. Absolutely grateful for life. And of course, supreme honors to the prophet, the mastermind, who allowed us to be where we are right now, knowing this truth about our nationality and our birthrights, that we're not Negro, we're not Black, we're not colored or Ethiopian. We're descendants of Moroccans born in America or born anywhere else, and we're Moors. Don't forget, it's every Wednesday. You could send your questions to canaanlandguide@gmail.com. Every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Q&A. Peace and love to all, and to all a good night. Islam.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes civil little a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes civil little a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Bass, mixing with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets stood me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Salt Bay, repping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J. Israel. Had no but I lay in plain sight, but people still can't see it. So the snake's still showing up, stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for light, the book of Genesis. Astro plane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finish him.
Moorish Omar, key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost in metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Facts slap a dirty more or a Drew Ali critic. Calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved. Or cut like a close shave. Drowned in my brain waves, squashed by heat waves. Activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini. Selassie I in exile. Reptile in Genesis, niggas appearing real. All I see is false evidence. DA are feminists, stomped on by elephants. More like go prejudice, but want Moorish benefits. When you feel the cold magnetic resonance. Apis horns of the sacred book, all maleficent. Great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness. No pestilence, ace all the testaments. Tap into remembrance, never to forget again. Use energy right, not put spell effects on men. Wander in the earth plane with no they live shades. Keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades. Not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets. Holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday. War ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?